The recording has started.
So we are in category 1 and type 1 problems. So we covered triangular lamina, square lamina, rectangular lamina, pentagonal lamina. So next problem will be problem number 37. So problem number 37, it's on hexagonal lamina. So read the statement of the lamina. So it states that a regular hexagonal lamina of side 25 mm is lying in such a way that one of its corners on HP, while the corner opposite to the corner on which it rests is on VP. If the lamina makes 60 degree to HP, draw the projection of the lamina. So this is a problem. So let us decide whether it falls under category 1 HP resting or category 2 VP resting. So which part of the sentence it tells you that it's a HP resting? So it tells that so it is lying in such a way that one of its corners is on HP. So it tells that one of its corners is on HP. So let me activate it. So one of its corners on HP, and then the lamina is 60 degree to HP. So corners the lamina is on HP, and the lamina makes 60 degree to HP. The second key point, lamina makes 60 degree to HP. This is the key point to justify that it is a HP resting lamina, because the lamina makes in the surface of the lamina, the entire lamina. So the entire surface of the lamina, it makes 60 degree to HP. So surface inclination of the lamina, if it is given with respect to HP, so it is HP resting. Suppose if the surface resting of the lamina inclination is given with reference to VP, vertical plane, then it will be second category, VP resting. So in HP resting, always the surface inclination of the lamina with reference to HP will be given. And in second category, VP resting problem, surface of the lamina inclination will be given with reference to VP. So since in this problem the lamina makes 60 degree to HP is given, so it's a clear indication that it's a HP resting, category 1. Now coming to the type 1. So type 1, now it is resting on HP. So whether it is resting with the edge resting position or corner resting position, that is also clear in this statement. So it is lying in such a way that one of its corners on HP. So it indicates corner resting. So in the first step 1 figure, you can see, so this is the corner of the left corner. So left corner of the hexagon. So I have placed the hexagon on HP with corner position. So I have taken the corner of the hexagon on the left side as a reference. In the second one, the hexagonal arm is placed parallel to the horizontal. It is parallel to the ground surface. So if you look at from the top, the top view of the hexagonal lamina will be a regular shaped hexagon in forward direction on your opposite wall. So you will get a horizontal line. The front view of the lamina will be a horizontal line. So again I'll repeat, in this engineering graphics, since it's a graphics class, so you have to imagine yourself as a pro, and then you have to place the lamina in hand, and by placing the lamina onto your hand, you have to imagine and you have to gradually will get to know the concept. So if you have lamina So in forward direction, just opposite to your wall, you will horizontal. Horizontal. So this is step 1. Coming to the next step, the surface of lamina is 60 degree to HP. HP inclination, the lamina is inclined 60 degree to HP. So this 60 degree to HP, how do you incline? The corner shape. So corner is reference. So hold the left corner of the hexagon. So you can see in the figure, in the step 2 figure, you can see the left corner of the hexagon is hold. So hold the left corner. I'll just highlight it. Hold the left corner of the hexagon and then rotate the hexagon in anti-clockwise direction, right side at 60 degrees. You can just look on 2 lines. So I have constructed 2 lines and I have shown the angle between those 2 lines as 60 degree. Horizontal line and inclined line, I have shown it in the figure. So horizontal line indicates HV, horizontal surface. So with reference to the horizontal line, I have counted the angle from 0 degree to 60 degree in anti-clock direction. So the 60 degree is measured with respect to horizontal line in anti-clock direction. So this is, and hold the left corner of the lamina in your hand and then tilt the lamina, rotate the lamina, hexagonal lamina from the right side. So from 0 degree to 60 degree in anti-clock direction. So the step here is inclined lamina. So in the step 2, the lamina is not parallel to HP. It is not parallel. It is inclined to HP. So it is inclined to HP at an angle of 60 degree. Now if you cut the lamina from the lamina will give you, but it will not be regular shape. It will be irregular shape. Hexagon will be irregular shape. And in the meanwhile, if you look at the inclined hexagon in forward direction on your opposite wall, so you will find the front view as a 60 degree line. The same front view, whatever you got it in step 1, the same front view you will get in step 2 with 60 degree. So dimension will remain the same. Step 1 and step 2 both are similar in dimension. You are just taking the front view of step 1 and you are taking step 2 with an angle of 60 degree. So in the next step, step 2, the front view of the lamina is a 60 degree line. So this completes HP inclination. Going to the third figure, step 3, it says that the corner of the corner is 1 HP. You can look at over here. So this one is no angle here. No VP direction here. Earlier in the previous one, you had seen VP angle with reference to resting edge. You had seen in previous problem. So, but in this problem, the corner opposite to the corner on the which is the corner of the hexagon which is placed opposite to the resting corner. Left corner of the hexagon is our resting corner, and you can just look at the figure 1. The right side corner of the hexagon. The right side corner of the hexagon. So this is the corner of the hexagon which is placed opposite to the resting corner. So it is opposite to the corner on which it rests is on VP. It is on VP. So it is on VP. So in this you see that this is the opposite corner. This is the opposite corner of the hexagon, which is placed opposite to the resting corner. This corner is opposite to the resting corner. So what you do, you have to rotate the hexagon in such a way that the right side corner touches VP. Touches VP means it touches inclined. I have just shown you the horizontal line on VP. So horizontal line on VP, and this was the corner. This is the corner. This is the corner of the hexagon which is opposite to the resting corner. So you have to rotate the hexagon in such a way that the right side corner of the hexagon touches the V. We just place it on the X line. That we just place it on X line. So then in the third step, when you look at the top view, you will get the same irregular shape with different position. Step 2 position of top will be different, whereas in step the position of the same top view we will get it at different position. And then with the help of lookup time we can get the last figure, the last front view, the third front view. Again it will be an irregular shape hexagon which will be drawn with the help of lookup time. I'll just go ahead with the basic freehand sketch. So I will start with the construction of XY line, thin line. So we'll construct XY line. So then we'll get the first top view. So construct hexagon in corner. How to construct hexagon in corner? I have explained using circle method. Use the angle method for construction of hexagon. Circle method is much better and easy. So to get corner restings, I just repeat it again. So you have to consider a circle by taking the radius of the circle equivalent to side of the hexagon. The side of the hexagon is 25 mm. So consider a circle with radius of 25 mm. So you will have the X line and Y, horizontal line and vertical line will be having it on this side. So this is your reference line of freehand sketch. I'm just showing you. So if you want to get corner resting position, you should take x-axis. If you want to get edge resting position, you should take y-axis. So whichever axis you take it as reference, that axis will give you corner position of hexagon. So since we want hexagon in corner position, so take your compass, measure the compass with radius 25. So keep your compass point on the left end of x-axis. So just keep it over here, left end of the x-axis. Cut an arc on the top and bottom. Then again take your compass on the right end of the x-axis. So cut an arc on the top and bottom. And then after that, join the hexagon. You need all the 6 corners of the hexagon. So it will start. So you can get over here. Then you will get the hexagon with corner resting position. If you get edge resting position, you should cut an arc with your compass by taking y-axis as reference. So keep the compass on the top end of y-axis. Cut an arc on left and right side direction. Again take your compass, place it on the bottom corner of y-axis and cut an arc on the right side direction. You get edge resting position again. So to get corner resting position of hexagon, you should use x-axis as reference. So take your compass, measure the radius of 25 mm in your compass. Keep your compass point on the left end of x-axis. Cut an arc on the top and bottom of the circle. Again take your compass on the right end of the x-axis. Cut an arc on the top and bottom of the circle. Then join all these 6 corners will be made available. So the x-axis, end point of x-axis will give you corner position of hexagon. So in this way you will get hexagon. So in this way you have to consider hexagon. I'll just get back. Yeah. So in this way we have to consider the hexagon. So XY line is drawn, and then I'll draw the top view of the hexagon in corner resting position. Just freehand sketch. So label that with ABCD. So ABCDEF. This is the top view, and then draw the projection line. So draw the projection line, thin line. So from the end point of the hexagon, it will be same. Then you'll get the front view as horizontal line. So with the help of this projection line, you get the front view. So label the front view with A dash, B dash, C dash, and so on. So labeling I'll explain you in the next figure. I cannot write the so this is the step 1. So the top view of the hexagon is a regular shaped lamina with corner resting position. The front view of the hexagon is a horizontal line. So in the next step, HP angle, surface of the lamina is inclined 60 degree to HP. So in the next step, so shift the front view. Whatever the front view you got it in step 1. Measure, take your compass, measure the front view of the hexagon, whatever you get it dimension. So with that, so first initially you consider 60 degree line, thin line. You can consider the 60 degree thin line. You can consider. So on this way, this is I have drawn 60 degree line of some dimension. So on the 60 degree line, so this is the 60 degree line. On the 60 degree line, take your compass, measure the entire dimension of front view, and then just with the help of your compass, just make it dark. So on whatever the line 60 degree line you have drawn, you have to just make it dark. So this is the front view. Then after that, do you find the intermediate? There are two regions over here. You can see over here. So measure the distance. Just one blue color. So take your compass, measure this distance. So first distance and then this distance. So cut an arc over here. Cut an arc. So in this way, on the front view, on the horizontal line, so you find total 4 corners. You find it: first corner, second, third, and then the last corner. So measure the dimension of those second corner and third corner, and mark it on the front view on the 60 degree line, and then label them with the same alphabets: A dash, B dash, C dash, whatever it is, you label. Then after that, to get the top view, so draw the projection line. So draw the projection line from the top view. So first corner, second corner, third corner, and then the last corner. And then draw the projection line from the top view. With the help of the local line, so you will get the regular shape. The starting point will be this one. It starts from here, and then it goes like this. So this will be an irregular shape hexagon. So the top view in the second step, with the help of locus line, you will get the irregular shape hexagon. And in the third step, what you have to do, so this is the reference corner. I'll just highlight with some yellow color. So this corner, so it's not visible. I'll change the color. I'll make it black. So this corner of the hexagon. So the right corner of the hexagon is the corner which is placed opposite to the resting corner. So that corner of the hexagon has to be taken and placed on the XY line. So how do we place it? So you will get the hexagon in this way. Ultimately, at the end, you will get the hexagon like this. So this is a corner. So this was the corner. This is the corner. So by taking the right side corner of the hexagon as a reference, so you should take the same top view of the hexagon. So you have to place it on XY line in such a way that the right end of the corner of the hexagon touches the XY line. So this is touching the XY line. It touches the XY line. Now how to get this, how to transfer this, that I'll explain you in the next figure. Key point. Because in the sketchbook, the same irregular hexagon, you have to transfer it to third step by taking the right side corner of the hexagon as a reference. By taking that as a reference, you have to complete the irregular hexagon. How to get that, I'll explain you in next figure. So with this, we'll just complete the problem. So draw the locus line from the top view, and then from the front view, study the locus and get the hexagon. Even this also I'll explain you in the next figure. So just it's a matter of studying the locus line from all the 6 corners of top view and all the 6 corners of front view. Study the intersection of the locus point, locus of A and locus of A dash. So that will give you the starting point A dash. And then the locus of B from the top view and the locus of B dash from the front view. So where they meet, so where they get intersected, so that will give you the second position of hexagon. So so how to get the third step I'll explain you in the next figure. So this is pentagon, hexagon. Yeah. So this is a solution. So this is the hexagonal lamina which is placed on HP with corner resting. So this is the corner resting of the hexagonal lamina. It was placed on HP. The top view is regular shape hexagon and the front is a horizontal line. Front view is a horizontal line. The same front view it was shifted in the second step at an angle of 60 degree, and all the intermediate points were marked. And then the projection lines were drawn from the front view in downward direction, and then the projection line from the top view. Then by studying that we got the hexagon. Looking this figure, I have just enlarged this figure. It is not exactly, it is not in square form or that. I have just enlarged it. Due to this enlargement of the figure, I have just enlarged the figure and I have just made it fit to the entire slide of the PPT. So the dimension, physically, so because of this enlargement of the figure. So if it is fit to the actual scale, you will get actual dimension. So just for reference purpose, I refer this figure. Okay, don't go for comparing the dimension of the second top view and the dimension of the third top view. The same because due to enlargement. Now coming to the in the third step, as I told you, so the corner D of the hexagon is the corner which is placed opposite to the resting corner A. A is the resting corner of the hexagon, and corner D is the corner of the hexagon which is placed opposite to the resting corner A. So this corner D of the hexagon is placed on HP. You can see this in the third figure. You can look at that. The corner D of the hexagon is
We're sorry, but some participants may be experiencing temporary audio issues. Our teams are working to resolve this as quickly as possible.
they are similar in dimension. Now let us see how to get this drawing. So to get this drawing, so what I will do is so I'll construct the line DA. So this line is so line DA. So measure the line DA and so start with constructing a thin line DA at suitable position on XY line. So I construct the line DA at suitable position on the x-axis. So next, you can this line DA, vertical line. So one and we can do vertical so let's mark that as one and just mark. and then along the line here you find vertical lines coming from the corner E to C and F to B. So these two vertical lines over here. So there are two vertical lines, two vertical locus lines that is running on the hexagon, which intersects the line D. So let us mark the point of intersection of the line EC along the line DA. Let me mark it as 1, and then let me mark the point of intersection of the line FB, vertical line FB, which intersects the line DA. Let me mark that as 2. Now, measure the distance from D to 1, and then get back to the third figure. We have already drawn the vertical line DA. So mark this D to 1, just mark, and then after that measure the dimension D to 2, from D to point 2. Then again mark that D2, so on this DA line. So this is 1 and this is 2. Then after that what you have to do, take your protractor, align the line of the protractor along the line DA, keep the center point of the protractor on the point A, that is on the point 1, and consider a 90-degree line of some dimension. Then again reverse your protractor, keep the center point of your protractor on the position 1, consider another 90-degree line of some dimension. Then after that go to the second figure, top view of the second figure. So measure 1 to C. You can find this dimension. Let me change the color so you can see that. So measure this distance 1 to C. I have shown it with red color. Measure the distance 1 to C, that will be equivalent to 1 to E, upward direction, 1 to E. So this 1 to C and 1 to E will be similar dimension. We can just measure any one, either 1 to C or 1 to E. Along this 90-degree line which you have drawn it, so you can see that keep your compose at position 1 and mark it at this position. So that will give the corner. Then again reverse your compose and mark it from 1 to E, that will give the corner E of the hexagon. So in this way we got two corners of the hexagon. Already we have two corners, corner D and corner A is already available. So we have drawn the vertical line DA, so which gives you already two corners of the hexagon. So remaining four corners have to be found. So with the position 1, so we got two corners, that is corner C and corner E of the hexagon. Now remaining another two corners, that is corner B and corner F, we have to find in a similar way. Then we'll go to the next second top of the second figure. Measure the distance from 2 to F or 2 to B. Measure the distance 2 to B or 2 to F. Okay, before that again you have to keep your protractor at position 2, keep the center point of your protractor at position 2, construct a 90 line of some dimension. Then reverse your protractor, keep the center point of your protractor at position 2, construct another 90-degree line of some dimension. After measuring the dimension 2 to B, just mark it on this 90-degree line. You will get corner. Reverse your compass, mark it as 2 to F. So you will get corner F. So with this procedure, now all the 6 corners are available. So you can go ahead with A, B, B, C, D, D, E, F, and F. So in this way we got the irregular hexagon in third position. Using computer drawing, solid edge, using move command with copy option, you can just copy the second top view, you can move it on the third position, and using rotate command we can easily rotate it. In a fraction of second we can complete it. It takes time. So you can copy and paste in manual sketching. So you have to follow this basic principle. So AD is the line DA, is the reference. So using that line B, you should complete all the figure and it will complete the head. So then the front of the question, draw the locus line from A, locus line from the B, locus line from the. These three vertical locus lines are drawn from the top view, and then locus line from the front view. So totally there are horizontal lines. So just study the point of interest locus line A, locus line A dash. So I'll just change the color. I'll make it red. First point we will do. Second point locus line of this, and then locus line this. Second point and then locus of this C, and then D, E, and then F. All these 6 corners you mark it with a locus line from the top view and from the front view, and then join it, so you will get this irregular shape hexagon. So mark all those 6 locus lines, and then join those corners in step by step order: A dash to B dash, B dash to C dash, C dash to D dash, and D dash to E dash, E dash to F dash, and then finally from F dash to F. So this completes the problem. So if anybody have doubt in this, so please activate or if you have any doubt or question, you can ask it. Yeah, I'll give a short time to clarify your doubts. Not to ask your doubt. So whoever wants to ask question and who have doubt, you can activate the audio and ask your doubt. Which part of the problem you have understood? Tell me, I'll repeat it. Waiting for the question. You have to respond. Please, you have to respond it. If you don't have doubt, then please respond. I'll go to the last. So the last lamina left out is circular lamina. So no questions. Unless you don't start touching on this Facebook or on the plate or on the graph sheet, you will not come to know. Difficulties you will come across if you start doing. Unless you don't do it, so you will not come across doubts. So once you start doing, a lot of difficulties will face initially. So you have to try to solve those difficulties. Initially you may find it difficult, but at the end of the chapter or at the end of the subject you feel it easy. It's a very scoring type of subject. You can easily score more than 90 marks in this subject compared to other subjects. So somebody activated audio. If you have no doubt, then please tell me. Shall I go to next problem? Just respond to my statement. So don't keep quiet. I have told you to keep quiet during the session of the class by deactivating the audio. So I have completed the problem and I have completed my explanation part. So when I am asking you to respond, please respond. Yeah, anybody can respond. Shall I proceed to the next problem? Shall I proceed to the next problem?
Don't message it. Message will not be visible to me because the screen is active. So the PPT screen is active. So I cannot see your names and your messages. I cannot see it till I deactivate the screen. I cannot look at the participants. So please respond orally.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So we'll go to the last problem of this one is on circular lamina. Problem number 46. Last few problems, 5 problems you find it on circular lamina. In between you don't find any circular lamina problem. The last few problems, 4 to 5 problems, you find it on circular lamina. So problem number 46 of your video solution book. Plate of negligible thickness of 50 mm on a point A on the circumference. Plane inclined at 45 degree to HP. The diameter passing through the resting point makes 60 degree VP. So read the problem and the conclusion whether it's a HP resting or VP resting. By reading the problem, it states that so it is resting on HP. You can see the circular lamina is resting on HP. This is one part of the statement, resting on HP. Another part of the statement is the plane is inclined at 45 degree to HP. This is another key point. The plane is inclined at 45 degree to HP. So with these two key points, so both the key points suggest you that it's a HP resting lamina. So even if any one of the key point is available, it's sufficient to decide that it is HP resting. Both the key points need not required, it's not required both the key points. Even if one of the point is given, so based on that you can decide that it's a HP resting lamina. So it is a circular lamina with HP resting position. So the first step, it has only one position. It doesn't have any edge resting or corner resting. No edge resting and no corner resting in circular lamina. Because it's a circle, so you will get only one profile. The front view is a horizontal line. But here, so in a circle you can have diameter in two directions, x direction and y direction. So you will have two possible diameters of the circle. I'll just tell you. This is a circle, so you have two possible diameters. Diameter of this circle along x-axis, diameter of this circle along y-axis. Normally we refer x and y-axis. So even in other direction also you can get the diameter. But normally we will just take the horizontal line, 0 degree line and 90 degree line as so 0 degree and 90 degree you will have two possible diameters of the circle. And normally in the problem also, so these two diameters will be used, either the horizontal diameter or the vertical diameter. Horizontal diameter, just if I start with A. So related to this horizontal diameter, find a statement. So you can find that. So on a point A on this circumference, the diameter resting on HP on a point A. So if you take the point, so it indicates horizontal diameter of the circle. So the left end of the circle, if you label this circle from the left end starting from ABCD, so the left position you will find A. So this is the A point of the circle, so on which it is resting. So now here as usual in the drawing, so we'll go ahead with so first step is construct a circle. There is no any, I have not prepared any model on circle. I don't have any model, so that is why I have left it blank. So directly I'll just explain you the problem. So XY line is drawn, and then take your compass, measure the radius as 50 mm, diameter is given, measure the radius as 25 mm, construct a circle. So with center point as reference. So when you construct the circle, so in the basic theory class I have taught you how to bisect the circle into 8 parts. So first construct this line, from the center point to the right, and complete the x-axis line complete. So you can just complete the entire x-axis line. The x-axis. So the x-axis and y-axis, you'll get default 4 parts of the circle. You'll get it. So to divide this circle into another 4 parts, so one way I taught you that consider 45-degree line in all the 4 quadrants. First quadrant, second, third, and fourth. In all the 4 quadrants, 45-degree line. So you will get 8 equal parts. So you get all the 8 equal parts. So label 8 equal parts with alphabet starting from A, from left hand A, B, C, D. It starts from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So it ends at H. So A to H is the labeling. So this is the top view, and then draw the projection line to get the front view. So projection line, you should draw it from the corners of the circle here. So here the point B and H, you will get it on the same line, and then vertical line. Then again dots. I'll just repeat it.
So this is a circle. So I have divided into 8 parts. Then I'll draw the projection line. So projection line. So these are the 4. So total 5 projection lines will get vertical, and then with this I'll get the top view. This is the top. Then in the next figure, HP inclination. The surface of the lamina is inclined to HP angle. So it is given 45 degree to HP. The plate is inclined 45 degree to HP. So what you have to do? So measure the dimension of the front view. Measure the dimension of the front view, and then at a direction of 45 degree, directly 45 degree line, so representing the starting point and end of the front view. Then take your compass, measure the distance. So I'll just mark the distance for that. So the first left hand point, then third, fourth, and then the last. So measure the distance from the left hand to the first position, certain arc, again from the first to the third position, certain arc, again from the first to the fourth position, cut another arc. So measure all those and then draw the projection line. So this is the first starting point, this is the end point. In between the starting and the end point, you find 3 intermediate points. So these are 3 intermediate points. So these are the 5 projection lines. Again similarly, projection line from the top, first projection line, second projection line, third, and then the fourth one, and then the last one, fifth one. So then here, so study the locus and you will get an ellipse. So in a circle problem, so the irregular shape of the top view will get converted into elliptical. So first you have to mark all the pictures and next figure. So we will explain here manually. I'll just refer the next figure. I'll just refer this figure. You can see that in this figure. So the first top view is labeled with A, B, C, D, E, F, G to H, and all the projectional lines are drawn, and you can see the front view, and then in the next step, the same front view is shifted to 45 degree line, and all those markings were done from A dash to B dash, H dash, C dash, and then D dash, F dash, and then E dash. So you have measured the distance from the first top using your compass, and then you have marked it on the 45 degree line, and from there correspondingly you have drawn the projection line. So this will be projection lines drawn. So you can see that all those projection line drawn, and then projection line from the first top view, all this were drawn. So by studying the point of intersection, your first point will be this A, then second B, C, then D, and then F, E, F, G, and then finally H. So mark the total 8 corners or 8 position of the lamina will get it. And if we have freehand sketch ellipse in the form of freehand sketch. Freehand sketch we can do it in a sketchbook. Whereas in computer drawing we have a separate command for construction of ellipse by center point, ellipse by 3 point. So using the ellipse command, you can construct exact ellipse in computer drawing. Whereas in manual sketching, it's a freehand sketch. So this is second step. And in the third step, so this is the third step problem related to VP angle. You can see that. So the top view of the diameter passing through the resting point makes 60 degree with VP. So the top view of the diameter passing through the resting point. So this is the top view. That is line AE. So the line AE, it is the top view of the line AE. So it is line AE, top view of the diameter passing through the resting point. So this is the resting point. So from the resting point, if you consider diameter, the top view of the diameter, obviously it is the line AE. So the line AE is the top view of the diameter, so passing through the resting corner A, resting point A. So this top view of the diameter passing through the resting point makes 60 degree with VP. So this line AE, you have to shift it at an angle of 60 degrees, so which is shown in this figure. I'll just use this black color. It's not visible clearly in the figure. You can see that the line AE. So the line AE is inclined at 60 degrees. So in this, what you have to do? So the same top view, irregular shaped lamina, top view of the irregular shaped lamina, that is step 2, top view, you have to shift it to third step by shifting the line AE at an angle of 60 degree to VP. So to start with this, so consider a line of 60 degree 90 clock direction along the XY line, and then measure this distance AE, measure the line AE, and then mark it on this, I'll just mark it with red color. So mark it on this 60 degree line. I just marked it. Now on this line AE, 2 corners are available, corner A and corner E. So out of the 8 corners, 2 corners are available. We have to get the remaining 6 corners. So how to get the remaining 6 corners? So for that, you have to focus on the irregular shape top view. So in the irregular shape top view, you can see that. So here the line is not connected properly. So let me just highlight this. We have a line here along H and B, F and D. We have a line over here.
One second. Please wait for a while. Wait for a while. I'll just get back.
Okay, so these are the lines. So it's a scan image. The scan image is not clear here. So the locus lines of the irregular shaped lamina are not clearly visible over here. I'll just make it clear here. So if you look at the irregular shape lamina, the second topic if you refer, so you can see that the line A, along the line AE, you find three intermediate line running from corner F to corner D, or position F to D. So a line FD, you can see it. Another line, vertical line, you can see. So I'll just highlight this line FD, and then another line G to C, you can see, and then another line you can see H to B. So these are the three vertical lines you find it along this diametral line AE. So along the line AE, so three vertical lines you can observe: line FD, vertical line FD, vertical line GC, and vertical line HB. So these vertical lines, they intersect on the line AE at certain position. So that position, let me mark it with some red marking. I'll just mark it with red marking. So here you can see, so this is a point. So I have just marked the point of intersection of those three vertical lines, line FD, line GC, and line HB, on that horizontal diameter line AE. So the same marking you have to do it on the line AE of third figure. So in the third figure, so 60-degree line is constructed. On the 60-degree line at suitable position, you have marked the line AE. So take your compass, measure the distance of the line AE from the second figure, and then mark the line AE on the 60-degree line. Then after that, so from this A, so mark the position of those vertical lines. So let me mark over here. You can label it with 1, 2, 3, or you can label it with X, Y, Z for reference purpose. Otherwise, just you can just mark it. So I'll just mark those 3 points. So you can just observe over there. So I have marked those three intermediate points of intersection of those three intermediate vertical lines. That is from A, starting from A, take your compass, measure that position A to, let me label those 3 points with X, Y, Z. So starting from A, so A to X, then A to Y, and A to Z. So that I have marked on this 60-degree line, A to X, A to Y, and A to Z. Then after that, what you have to do, you have to take the protractor similar way as you have done in the previous hexagon. So in a similar way, so position your protractor line along the line AE. Keep your center point of protractor on the first position of the point. Let me take it as X, and then consider 90-degree line in forward direction and reverse direction. Then again, take your protractors, position the center point of protractor at the second point, and then consider 90-degree line forward and 90-degree line backward. 90-degree line forward and 90-degree backward. So 90-degree line forward and 90-degree line backward. It's just a freehand sketch I'm telling you. And then again in third, nothing is protractor, the third position, 90-degree line, 90-degree line forward and 90-degree line backward. So now you can see that I have placed those three intermediate lines along the line AA. So by marking those dimensions. Now with the help of these three intermediate lines, now easily you can shift all the remaining 6 corners of this circle, 6 corners. So you can just take the first intermediate line HB. So take the intermediate line HB, measure the distance from the intermediate point to the distance H. So from the intermediate point to H, that will be equal to the lower end, intermediate point to position B. So keep your compass on the first point X, and then mark it on the 90-degree line, and mark that as H. I'll just show it here. So mark it with that as H. Then again from the intermediate point to the position B. This is B. Similarly, from the next point, measure the distance from the next point to the G. That will be equivalent to the next point to the C. So just mark it over here. So that will give the position G and position C. And similarly, from the third intermediate point, measure the distance from the third intermediate point to the position F, mark it on the top, then again to the position D. So in this way I got all the 8 corners of the ellipse. Now with a freehand sketch you can just join it, that is A to B, B to C, C to D, D to E, E to F, F to G, G to H, and then H to E. So in a sketchbook, freehand sketch you can do it. You will not get exact ellipse, you will not get it. It's a freehand sketch. Whereas in computer drawing there is no such necessity itself. So directly you can copy the second top view and you can paste it in the third position, and using rotate command you can rotate the line A along this 60-degree line. It's very quick and fast in computer drawing, whereas in manual drawing it takes some time. So this is a basic step you have to follow to get the those 8 corners. Similarly, the last, to get the last front view, similar thing what you have to do, you have to draw the projection lines. So draw the projection lines, so from all the 8 corners, starting corner A, then corner B, then corner C, and then D, E, F, all this you can see it. So just draw all those projection lines from the top view and from the front view. So study the locus point and then just mark those 8 corners. You can see over the first corner is here, second corner, then third corner, and then your fourth corner, fifth, and then sixth, seventh, eighth. So mark those 8 corners and then go for freehand sketch. So whatever you get in the last figure, that is the front view of the third step, is not an ellipse. So in the computer drawing, the last figure, so the front view of the last step is drawn using curve command. So using curve command, you will be drawing the last front view. So the last figure, front view of the third step, it is not an ellipse. So it is a it is a smooth curved profile. So that will be constructed in computer drawing using curve command. So whereas in manual drawing, both ellipse and all those things are drawn using a freehand sketch. So with this we complete the type 1 problem. So if you have any doubt in this, you can ask questions. So you can activate your audio and you can clarify if you have any doubts and questions. If you have any doubts, you can clarify. Any doubts? Any doubts, please respond. Activate your audio and respond. If you have no doubts, then please respond. We'll wind up the class.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Have understood? Still, everybody have understood? Put your efforts. Try to put your efforts. Since it's an online class, whatever doubts you have, please try to clarify your doubts. Somebody has repeated once again, sir, at 12:51. See, as I told you, once I activate my screen, I will not be able to read your messages. So please respond orally. Once I activate my screen sharing, I will not be able to look at your messages. So that part will not be highlighted to me. Somebody has messaged me to repeat once again. So please respond orally. Activate your audio and respond orally if you have any doubts. So thank you for joining the class. We'll wind up the class. So solve all these type 1 problems. If you have sketchbook, so please do it on sketchbook directly. If you don't have sketchbook, make use of long note book pages, rule or unroll, plain pages, whatever it is. Also you have long pages, long notebooks, you have it. So in that long notebook, try to do all this. Use horizontal landscape of your long notebook. So use the landscape of your long notebook and go ahead with your geometric box. Now don't tell me that even you have left your geometric box in the hostel or in the college, so please try to get access. So try to purchase this even if it is locked on, so please try to do it. So if you do it, then only you will come to know the difficulties. If you don't do, you will just keep blinking and you will not learn it. So try to solve all these problems with your geometric tools and sketchbook, long notebook, whatever it is. Write down your names and register number on all the pages of the book, scan it and keep it ready. So at the end of the chapter or at the midpoint of the chapter, I will ask you to submit the scanned copy of your sketching. So it will be an evaluation will be done by looking your soft copy. Okay, so with that marks will be evaluated. So thank you. So we'll wind up the class.